Most organizations juggle multiple frameworks: ISO 27001, NIST 800-53, CIS Controls, SOC 2. In this module, you'll see how NIST CSF 2.0 acts as a kind of universal translator, letting you align these standards, reuse evidence, and simplify cybersecurity compliance. You're probably already managing GDPR, ISO, SOC 2, HIPAA, PCI, and more. Each one asks for different reports, evidence, and meetings. But your infrastructure, your data, and your risks stay the same. The real challenge isn't adding yet another framework. It's unifying everything you already have. NIST CSF 2.0 gives you that unifying layer. It doesn't replace ISO 27001, NIST 800-53, CIS, or SOC 2. Instead, it provides a single, outcome-focused taxonomy you can map all of them into. That makes it easier to align projects, reduce duplicate effort, and explain your security posture to leadership, auditors, and customers using one consistent shared language. Informative references are the bridge between CSF outcomes and the control sets you already use. Each CSF subcategory describes the what you need to achieve. The informative references point to the how by linking to specific requirements in ISO 27001, NIST 800-53, CIS Controls, and others. These references are guidance, not extra obligations. If you already implement a referenced control, you're likely satisfying that CSF outcome. In practice, they let you reuse existing policies, tools, and audits, and build a single unified view across multiple frameworks. NIST CSF 2.0 and ISO 27001 work best together. CSF 2.0 gives you the strategy and risk view. It's outcome-based and shows where risk is covered and where you have gaps across functions like identify, protect, and detect. ISO 27001 gives you the management system: policies, procedures, governance, and Annex A, controls that can be audited and certified. In many organizations, CSF shapes the risk-driven roadmap, and ISO 27001 becomes the formal ISMS that implements and proves it. NIST CSF and NIST SP 800-53 are twin zoom levels on the same problem. CSF describes the what at an outcome level: identify assets, detect anomalies, respond effectively. It's written so executives, risk teams, and engineers can align on common goals. 800-53 is the how-to catalog. It spells out specific controls, parameters, and implementation options. Typically, you use CSF to define desired outcomes and priorities, then map into 800-53 when you need concrete, auditable implementation detail. CIS Controls and SOC 2 also fit into this picture. CIS is your tactical playbook: prioritized actions that harden systems quickly and improve basic cyber hygiene. Ideal for engineers who need concrete steps and fast wins. SOC 2 lives in the world of commercial assurance. It provides customers and regulators with an attested story that your controls meet the trust services criteria. NIST CSF sits between these. You can map CIS into CSF for day-to-day operations and map CSF into SOC 2 to support clean, business-friendly reporting. Let's look at what this means in practice. Take the CSF outcome, access managed. In plain language, it means identities are controlled and only authorized users reach sensitive resources. Once you implement that outcome well, using centralized IAM, least privilege, and strong access reviews, you can use that same capability as evidence for ISO 27001, NIST 800-53, CIS Controls, and SOC 2 at the same time. One well-designed control set can reduce duplicate work across multiple frameworks. You can think of NIST CSF as your master map. You connect your real-world controls and evidence to CSF outcomes once, then reuse that mapping for every audit or report you care about. First, establish CSF as the single source of truth for what good looks like. Second, align your existing controls to those outcomes, consolidating duplicates and exposing gaps. Finally, design your testing so each control can satisfy multiple frameworks, then reuse the same evidence for ISO, SOC 2, and internal risk reviews. When you build CSF mappings, three common traps tend to show up. First, overmapping. It's tempting to link one control to a long list of outcomes. Avoid that. Only create a mapping when you can clearly show evidence that the outcome is truly satisfied. Second, Be precise about coverage. Call out when something is only partially implemented or only applies to certain systems, regions, or business units. Third, don't rely on generic maps. Templates are a useful starting point, but you need to adjust them to reflect your actual tech stack, processes, and risk profile. A CSF-centered program becomes more than a control checklist. It's your organizing backbone. You reduce duplication by testing once and reusing evidence across frameworks. You gain a single, unified view of risk that leadership can understand and act on. You also future-proof your program. New regulations simply map into the same structure, and you get a common language that finally aligns security, risk, and the board. To turn CSF 2.0 into something you actually use, think in 3 moves. First, define a clear mapping methodology. Decide that CSF outcomes are your master view, then map ISO, CIS, or regulatory controls into that, not the other way around. Second, run a pilot. Pick one function, like protect, and build the mapping just for that scope. Validate it with real evidence and real workflows. Third, formalize governance. Define owners, update cycles, and change control so your CSF mapping stays accurate as standards and your environment evolve.